Peace, beautiful souls. Okay, so someone asked me what is shadow work. And before I answer what shadow work is, I want to talk about what our shadow self is, or our shadow. So our shadow holds all the parts of us that have been projected upon, holds our fears, our limiting beliefs, our parts of us that we want to keep hidden or that we're not really aware of. And a lot of times too, that part of us doesn't really stay hidden because we kind of move from that version of ourselves until we, shed light on it, shed love with it, because our point is not to get rid of it completely, but to bring it out, to bring the real us out. Because again, there's a lot of suppression and projections that we have pushed down. It usually stems from people in our lives, from adolescent, but it can be from any stage, really, from really young to your teenage phase to your adult self, all these parts, right? And it could be things that you really love, but then people projected onto that and made you think that you didn't really like these things. And then going into your shadow, you can also figure out why you feel things such as jealousy, where those things are stemming from, where your limiting beliefs are stemming from, the self-doubts, all these things, if that makes sense. Your shadow is not anything to be afraid of or to hate or to dislike or to be ashamed of. It's just part of you that needs, again, more light and a lot more love and integration with your highest self. Some people also interchange that word with your ego self, because sometimes your ego could be pulling from your shadow. Again, those aspects that have been projected upon, just trying to protect yourself. You kind of go into like survival mode, protection mode, and build up this wall, and then tend to move from your shadow again, unless you dive deep and give it that love and pull out the parts of you that you truly are, how you really feel, if that makes sense. And not to say that these feelings that come up are not how you actually feel, but most of the time these things, they're stemming from somewhere else, and it's not truly how you want to show up, if that makes sense. It's you mostly going in defense mode and safety mode, and like you wanting to be not looked at a certain type of way, so you're molding yourself to fit a certain image, if that makes sense, or not to fit a certain image necessarily, but to defend yourself. I trust y'all understand what I'm saying. So shadow self, aspects of you that you keep hidden, that you ignore, that you are not even aware exist. Okay, so when there's different ways to do shadow work, and I feel like the more you do act like intentional shadow work actively, the more it becomes second nature, and you'll notice that you might do something like get upset at something, or you might feel that jealousy and you're like, where is this coming from? Like you just start to automatically do that shadow work. How I started to do shadow work is through questions. You can go on Google, go on TikTok, ask ChatGPT, whatever the case may be, and ask for shadow work prompts. So you're going to be asking yourself a series of questions. They have shadow work for each chakra. They have shadow work for your inner young Ren, for your teenage self, for your adult self, for different types of traumas, because there's so many layers within you, and it's been accumulating from years and years, like I said, since really young to now. And you can always accumulate, I could say, new shadows, I think, until you get to a point of a lot of self-love where you do not allow people to project upon you, or for you to project upon yourself, or to feel the things like shame and things like that, But doing shadow work is such a beautiful thing. It's helped me so much to get to know myself, to give myself so much like love and grace, and really understand where certain things were coming from. It also, you can identify your triggers. Identifying your triggers is really important, because once you understand like, oh, this is a trigger for me, again, you can dive deeper. Where did that come from? How do I actually want to react versus reacting from a triggered point, if you get what I'm saying. So I think I answered of how I do shadow work. What shadow work is to me, asking yourself questions. I think it's really important to write them down, because to me, writing brings things to life. Like, it makes it more real. Again, you can do shadow work in your head, but it's also real easy to dismiss what comes in your head. But I think in the beginning it's very important to do it by writing down the question, writing down your answer, and reading it after. And shadow work also in the beginning can be pretty heavy because you're unpacking things that, again, you usually ignore, or that you weren't really aware of, or that you just didn't really want to pay attention to because it's some deep stuff. And shadow work, again, it's not meant for you to be ashamed of yourself or to like punish yourself, but you do have to really look yourself in the face and take accountability for a lot of things. It's not always things that you did, but it's not always things that other people have done also, if you get what I'm saying. That's deep in your shadows. So my point for that is it can get pretty heavy. So I think personally it's really important to do affirmations after the shadow work so that you end it on a lighter note, instead of just answering the question and then maybe the answer to the question is deep, it's heavy, it's like, damn, I did that, or damn, like, you know what I'm saying, or that happened to me, or I went through that, I should say, because I don't like to say anything happens to you, everything happens for us. It's just a matter of perspective. But yeah, in the beginning I wasn't doing affirmations. Well, I was doing them, but separately. I wasn't doing them pertaining to the shadow work prompts, but now I do that. And it's also I don't always do it now, because the way I think now is different than when I started. I automatically don't allow myself to end on like a negative thing, and I hate to even say negative, but you know what I'm saying, just keep things heavy. So I don't always do it. But for those of you who don't know, I have created my own shadow work prompt and affirmation book. I have 100 shadow work prompts and 100 affirmations that go with each shadow work prompt. I'll show you the journal in a second. It's kind of beat up now. I done did a lot with it, but you can purchase that on Amazon if you're interested, or if not, like I said, there's a bunch of free shadow work prompts on everywhere. ChatGPT, Google, TikTok, probably YouTube also. In the beginning of my journey, that's where I found most of them, and then I ended up creating my own. But yeah, I trust that answers the question. Get down, Loki. Hold on, this girl. But yeah, everyone has different like viewpoints on what shadow work is. I believe the person who came up with the term of shadow work is named Carl Jung. Don't quote me, I think. But and of course I feel like there's different names. Just like I said, there's different perspectives, but there's different ways people explain the shadow self and all these things. But yeah, I just think everyone should do this. And some people are like, oh, I've done it, I don't have to do it anymore. Like, it's not a one-time thing. And like I said, there's levels. Just like healing in general is not linear. You can't, I don't want to sit there and say we're always going to have to be healing, but there's a lot to unpack. You know what I'm saying? I trust generations to come, there won't be people having to heal, because we're doing the healing so that, you know, our future don't have to, the future generations do not have to, and we'll be in a state of peace and bliss. But the most important thing when doing shadow work, any healing work, have grace for yourself. Give yourself extra love. Do that reparenting that you needed. Even if you had great parents, give yourself whatever it is that you needed or need in this moment, and ask yourself, do that shadow work. What is it that I need? And it might be different at every stage. It most likely will be different at every stage. Or sometimes you have to go back to square one. How I also started shadow work and affirmations and yoga, all these things I started it specific per chakra. I started from the root chakra and I did 1 week of each. And then from there, I just did how I felt called to. Like, I just let it flow. Also fasting. A lot of this thing, and juicing, all these things, juice fasts, whatever, okay. All of that just helped. It helped a lot, and still helps me, because I'm still doing the things. I don't have to do it, I would say, at least the shadow work part, well, writing it actively, because again, I'm constantly like doing shadow work in my head, at least, right? And but in the beginning, it was very, very consistent, and I had it very structured because I was so gone in the beginning of my journey. Like, I really needed it. And it truly, truly, truly changed my life. And it'll help you to set boundaries. It'll help you to really get serious with what it is that you truly want. What kind of people do you truly want to be around? Are the people that you have in your life the people that you really want to be in your life? Do they love you how you need to be loved, not how they just want to? And I'm telling you, it can get difficult, because this journey ends up, if you allow it, it'll really change your life in such a beautiful way. But you got to go through the darkness. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, like, it gets heavy. It gets really heavy, and it's a roller coaster, and sometimes, a lot of the times, you end up on the journey by yourself. Also saying you're never really by yourself. Your guides, the Most High, your spirit team, your ancestors, they're all with you all the time. Get used to talking out loud, get used to talking to yourself, get used to talking to them, and you're never really talking to just yourself, because again, you're never actually alone. Connect with the nature, cleanse your energy. You got this. You can do this 4,000%. Yeah, and on those days that it's hard, again, water yourself with extra love. It might not be easy. Oh, and if you need to scream, scream. Okay, no one's gonna do anything to you if you scream. Just scream, okay? Whoever needs to hear that, scream. It feels great, fantastic. Okay, so yeah, well, here's the journal. Like I said, I done messed it up. Shadow work prompts and affirmations. Get to know and embrace the hidden parts of you. So here's your shadow self. Here's your light body self, highest self. Giving hugs, because again, remember, it's not meant to kill it off. Even your ego, it's not meant to shut your ego down completely. Those parts of you are literally just trying to protect you, but mostly from a place of, like I said, survival mode and fear. So the goal is to integrate all parts of you, align mind, body, soul, align your shadow with your highest self, so you can make these greater, better decisions, and just from a place of really loving yourself truly. You don't want to make decisions based off of fear, based off of limiting beliefs, based off of traumas. You get what I'm saying? You want to make your decisions from a heart-centered space, from your power, from a fearlessness, from your goddess self, from your inner knowing and trusting yourself. You get what I'm saying? Not, oh my gosh, if I do this, it might end up like this, or what are people going to think? And I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you, because like I said, still be going through the motions, or not just going through the motions, but there's layers on layers and layers of things to heal and unpack. So, and being patient with yourself. Ooh, yoga, all these things have taught me patience, teaching me patience, because my goodness. But anyways, I trust I answered the question. And if you have any other questions, or if you want to speak about your journey in shadow work, if you've done it, how it's worked for you, affirmations, all the things, please feel free to share in the comments. I love you. I'll see you later. Okay, I also wanted to add, because in the comment, the man stated that he lacks a lot of empathy now, basically, and he cannot deal with his family. In lack of better words, he feels bad around them. And again, when you start to rise up to the truth and connect with yourself more in a way that you start to, like I said previously, know what it is you want and don't want to tolerate, and how you want to be loved by people, usually your family and friends be like the first people you disconnect with, because again, usually the projections and trauma and stuff stems from that area. And if you're not, again, watering yourself with love and doing the work, you could get in a state of just being angry. Like, that could be the first stage, because also it's like a grief thing, right? When you no longer have connections with people, whether it's because they transitioned or they're still alive, and you just no longer have that relationship. 111, it's like a grieving process. Anger is one of those stages of grief. But when you dig deeper into anger, it really is stemming from a sadness perhaps because you no longer can be around them, because they're treating you a certain way, you don't like how you feel when you're with them. But it's so easy for us to move from a space of anger versus sit there and be like, no, I'm sad, what you're doing hurts my feelings. And a lot of times our family or friends at those levels of our life don't know how to really reciprocate that, because we also, again, we're in this state of learning how to love ourselves, which you can't really love someone else unless you actually love yourself. You have to learn how to communicate. You have to learn how to be honest. And again, it's easier for it to come off as anger. Oh, I'm mad, I don't want to talk to you. But if you're saying like, I'm sad, can we talk? Like, I would like to tell you what you did, or how whatever made me feel, that's scary, that's hard. And again, it's not always received well. Some people don't want to have that conversation. So if you're watching this, please give yourself grace. And I know you said something along the lines of you think it's just a phase as far as the anger, right, and the lack of empathy. I trust that it is. You just have to give yourself more grace, more patience, more love, and then give them more grace, more patience, more love. And again, like I said earlier, it's a perspective thing. Things do not happen to us. People are not doing things to us. Even if it may feel that way, it's for us. It's for our ascension, for our growth, for our self-love journey. Even the worst of the worst traumas, we have to also like get ourselves out of victim mode. We chose these lives before we incarnated on this earth to go through this journey, to reach a certain level, to whatever the case may be. Everybody's journey is a bit different, but ultimately, we chose these lives, we chose these family members, we chose these soul contracts with these people to trigger us to do, to change, to do, to feel, to be, to see, to hear. You get what I'm saying? Like, everything happens for a reason. Nothing is just by coincidence, okay? There was something else I wanted to say and it just like flew out of my mind. But ultimately, nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening for you. You just have to allow yourself to see it and be grateful for these things. Even when you do get to a point where you start setting boundaries and you're having these conversations and these people can't have those conversations back with you, it's never anything personal. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone is not ready to face these topics, face their shadows, face their traumas. And I had to learn that on my journey, because in the beginning I was thinking like, God, I just can't be around these people. Like, why are they treating me like this? Why are they doing this? Like, I'm just trying to heal. I'm just trying to have a real conversation. I'm just trying to connect. But I had to realize they're just not ready. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. Stick to your journey. Do what you got to do. You want to have those conversations, you can try, but you can't make people hear you in that way. You can't make people understand you. Everyone's on a different level, you know? And, oh, that's what I was going to say. Being triggered is not a bad thing. There's a difference, though, from when you see someone intentionally trying to trigger you to, like, invoke a certain energy out of you. Stay clear of those people. But what I'm saying is, even in a healthy relationship, you might be triggered, and be grateful for those triggers, because, again, they're telling you, like, when you get triggered, even feeling things like anger or sadness, what is this anger teaching me? What is this anger trying to show me? What is my sadness trying to show me? What part of me is asking for attention? What part of me is asking for more love? Even with the triggers, any type of triggers, physical triggers, visual triggers. Well, that's physical too, feeling. Anyways, y'all get what I'm saying. Okay, I think I trust I have been understood. Again, just be patient with yourself and just send your family a bit of extra love. Ultimately, everybody is you on a different level. Send yourself love, send them love, and that doesn't mean, right, condone negative behavior, tolerate disrespect, tolerate people crossing your boundaries, or settling for less than what it is that you know that you are worthy of and that you want, regardless of who it is. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, send them love. You can love from a distance. And you cannot let yourself fester in that anger and those angry feelings, hateful feelings. And those are not, well, I don't know about hate, but like, anger is not a bad thing. But again, it's teaching you something. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself process it, unpack it, let it go, and send some love. You get what I'm saying? I trust you get what I'm saying. And I'm super excited. I'm going to be having more books coming out, of affirmations books for each chakras, and one for certain emotions, certain feelings. But again, right now, this is what I have out. I have other journals, but they're just like diary ones. They're pretty cute though. But yeah, check them out. Check them out. Again, if you don't want to buy it, or you can't, or whatever the case may be, there are free shadow work prompts everywhere. And sometimes I post mine too, but not. Okay, anyways, I love you. Talk to you later.